So this tutorial on the motion graphics assignment, basically just taking in text or objects and just animating them. All right, so here we go. So first thing you're gonna want to do is set your project, because more than likely there's other people working on your computer, or on the school's computer. If you're working on your own computer, this obviously wouldn't be such an issue. But so I'm just gonna do File, Set Project to make sure it's set to the correct project. And I should have, where are you, Cone logo, set. And then I'm going to hit open, and I'm going to grab my last version here, open, and we don't need to save the scene. And all right, so basically if I turn on these various ones, you can see I have all these different objects, let's go turn around here, that represent the my name. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to animate one at a time to do the best that I can. So one thing I don't have, I'm just going to turn them all on for right now, just to have them on, is I do not have a backdrop. So I'm just going to show you quickly how to make like a backdrop. So I am going to make, we'll do it like this. I'll take a cube, all right, and I'm going to scale it big, shwink, like this, and we'll scale it down, and we'll scale it wider, scale up again actually. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to faces, right click, drag down faces, and I'm going to delete those faces, so I just have the back here. Okay, so if you ever seen, sometimes when people do photography, they have the back thing here. I'm going to take this, and you can see it's inside out. I want it to go the other way, so I'm just going to go in the modeling tool panel here. I'm going to do mesh display, and I'm going to do reverse. That's going to put this in the front and that in the back, all right, because my camera is going to be here. Now what I'm going to do is this. I am going to just use maybe my multi-cut tool here. I'm just going to hold Control, all right, and I'm just going to draw an edge here, and I'm going to, while I'm holding Control, and click here, okay? So I got these two things here. Great. Now, last thing I want to do is this. This is a hard edge here, which isn't what I want. I want it to be curved so that when there is a shadow or what have you, it's not like I won't like hit this and then come up. I want it to be kind of not like that. So I'm going to select this. I'm going to right click, go to edge. I'm going to click on this center edge here, and I am going to bevel it. So here's the bevel tool right here. All right, so, or you go underneath edit mesh bevel, and it's naturally just going to do this much, but I'm going to change the segments to more, to whatever looks good to make a curve. Okay, and now if you look, I got a nice little background thing. Now the last thing I want to do with that is this. Slink. Okay, if I were to render this, which it's not going to really look like too much, you can see this is what it looks like, okay? Which is fine, but I can clearly see the shadows and all this stuff, and then you can see the blank here, which isn't that great. All right, so I'm going to fix a couple of things. I'm going to create a new camera. So I'm just going to go to Create, Cameras, Camera. All right, and this will be our actual camera. So I'm just going to move it back and over. And we're going to just rename this one Shot 01. All right, that's just what I named it. Just because, so I need a name for the camera. And I'm going to go to the attribute editor. And naturally, whenever something isn't, I'm going to, okay, come on. There. I'm just going to go over here, go Panels, Perspective, and select Shot 1. That way I can see through the camera here. And what you're going to notice is, all right, so you see it says Shot 1. I'm going to turn the grid off. I don't need that. What you're going to notice is that when I render, the background's black, right? So whenever there isn't anything there, the background's black. I don't want that. So with the camera selected, so you can, if you're in the camera view, you can hit this button that selects the camera. Or if you go View, Select Camera, that will select the current camera that you are in. Or you can just physically select it here. Either way, I'm going to go to the attribute editor underneath the shape node. You'll see there's a property down here that says environment. I'm going to open that up, and I'm just going to change it to white. Okay. Yay. Or I'll make it a little bit less than white. like that. All right. Now you'll notice when I hit render, the background is white, okay? Which is good, because I want it clean. You could choose a different color. I'm just doing white because it's a nice, kind of color. I'm doing a little bit off-white, and that's what I would suggest is never go full white or full black. That way it always gives you room that something can be a little bit brighter or a little bit darker. All right. So I got that going on. Now the other thing I want to do is I want this background here to catch shadows. And just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, don't do this. I'm just going to do this real quick, and then we'll set this up afterwards. I'm going to go lights, directional light, and pull this up and over, and we'll go down, and shadows. Okay. Go here. Okay. When I go to render this, the whole reason why I want this back panel is that it will create the shadow I want, right? Let me go this way so you can see it better. Yay. That's the reason why I was there. Because if this isn't here and I just have the white, I get no shadows. And without shadows, it doesn't feel grounded. So that's why we put that back panel there. However, I also don't want to actually see it. Okay? So there is a special material that you can apply to this. So I'm going to select the object, right click, I'm going to drag down to assign new material, and I'm going to choose use background. Boop. And what that's going to do is that basically whatever the background color is what it will be. So you can see it's not quite right. It's close. I have to select it and go to that material, go to the attributes, and I should rename this anyway. So we're going to call this backdrop _MAT. And you can see reflectivity. Boop. I don't want that on there. So now if I hit render, you can see it's perfectly white. You don't see the object itself, but it's there to catch the shadows. So that's the whole reason why we're even building that. Okay? That's what this backdrop part is for. All right. So let me just delete this so you don't. All right. All right. So next, what I want to do is, so we have a camera, which I don't know what happened to it. Where did you show? Oh, there it is. Okay, so we have a camera, and we have our thing here. The next thing I want to do is just create lights in order to light this, just in the nicest way possible. So I'm going to go to we're going to go to create lights. And I'm not going to go too much into this because this isn't a lighting course, but I'm just going to use directional lights to make it easier. So I'm going to select this directional light. I'm going to take it. I'm going to pull it up and over. I'm going to turn on wireframe mode because I can't see the backdrop. Okay. Take this up and over here. It doesn't really matter where you put it because it's directional light. This is going to be like my key light. So I'm just going to go ahead and rename. I'm not even gonna worry about naming it. We'll just let it be that. But I'm gonna go to the attribute editor, go to the shape node, and directional light's fine. All of this is fine. We're gonna leave it. I want this to be kind of clean, so I'm gonna leave it white. What I do want you to do though is open up shadows. Okay. We don't want depth map shadows. I want you to go to ray trace shadows and click on use ray trace shadows. Okay. Without that on, you will get no shadows. Well, I actually can't see it here because that's black, but you'll see no shadows, okay? This needs to be turned on. This turns on creating shadows for the light. And actually, that alone won't do it. You have to turn it on in the settings too, but that's at least a start. Okay. And let's put on wireframe again so I can see where my camera is. Okay. Good. So there's one shadow. Now, the only problem with that, though, that you're going to see, and make sure you're looking through your main camera here, is that, yes, it creates the shadow, but you can see also it's dark. So we need to have a fill light. So I'm going to go over here in my perspective. I'm just going to select that light. I'm going to hit Control-D, duplicate it. And I'm just going to put it over a little. Doesn't really matter. And I'm just going to kind of do this in the opposite direction. I'm going to go this way with it. All right. Now, what I want to have happen with this, though, is that it can't have the same settings. So a couple of things here. I'm going to take the intensity and bring that way down. We'll try 0.5 to start with, okay? I'm going to take the illuminate by default. That's fine. Emit diffuse is fine, but I don't want to do specular. Specular is the highlight. I don't want this to create a highlight. It's merely meant to fill in the shadows. The other thing I'm going to do is turn off use ray trace shadows, I don't want to create a shadow. It's actually meant to fill the shadow. So now I'm going to switch back to this view. I just tap spacebar, and hopefully, there you go. So now you can see it fills in that shadow, and that's all fine and dandy. And I'm not going to do any more than that. You can add more lights and get more fancy with it if you want. I just want basic, you know, to get that kind of looking okay. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is with my camera selected here, I'm just going to basically kind of angle how I want it. Okay. So we'll say something like that. And I'm going to turn on this, the little, it's a square with a little blue ball. This is the resolution gate. So I can kind of, I can kind of see what that looks like. All right. So that's my resolution gate. And, that looks fine. And I'm going to say that looks good. That's how I want my camera. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lock this camera down. I'm going to click on this to select the camera that I'm looking through, which is, you remember, it's the shot 1 camera. And I'm going to click and drag. So all you do is you click on, I'm going to select the camera again. You click on the word translate, X, drag down to the last attribute. You're going to right click over top of it and go lock selected. And what that's going to do is that now I can't accidentally move this. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and take all these items here, select all of them, and add it to a new layer. So by clicking the ball and paper, and we'll just call this, I don't know, shot stuff. It's not a good word. It doesn't really mean much, but, and I'm going to click from P to, oops, sorry, not there. I'm sorry, from V to, or T to R. What it's going to do is it's going to show it, but I can't select any of these items, all right? So now the only thing I can interact with is just my rig itself. Good. So we got that set up. The next thing I want to do is with this camera view here, I just want to make sure I'm going to go to my render settings, and I'm going to go to common, and we're just going to play blast these, but I'm going to switch from HD 540, so you scroll down, HD 540 to HD 720. Okay, the aspect ratio will be the same, but the resolution will be higher, which is what I want. And I'm going to hit close on that. I'm also going to make sure, I'm going to go to display, heads up display. I'm going to turn poly count off. I don't really want that. That was that little stuff here. It's good for modeling, but it's not good for animation. Good. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set up this for better animation. Because right now I have these panels and that's all fine, but I usually like to have a little bit of a different setup as far as my panels are concerned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to panels. Where are you? Layouts. And we're going to do 3 panes split top. Okay. So it's going to do, there's 3 total panes and there's a split on the top. So on the top left, I'm going to go panels, perspective, make sure it's shot 1. Okay, so this will be my camera that I look through. And I'm actually going to go ahead and turn wireframe off of this one. And this is going to be my perspective. This is the camera I work in. And then the bottom panel, I'm going to go, so you would just do panels, perspective, perspective. And my bottom panel is going to be panels, panel, graph editor. So this is where I will adjust my graphs. Now, a couple other things I want to do is in this view, I'm going to go ahead and go to show, none, show polygon. So only the model show, so I get a preview of what it looks like. I'm also going to turn on texturing, which isn't going to do too much. Lighting, shadows. Okay. And you can add this stuff as well, so the blur and all that. And basically that's like the highest quality. Now there is some issues with the Macs, like you can't use this one. On a PC you can use it and it'll look fine, but when you go to Play Blast, it's something with a graphics card. I don't know. At least the new Macs. The old ones, if you have an NVIDIA, you'll probably be fine. Okay, so this is going to be like my preview of what I look at to make sure this is the camera. But this is the one I'm actually going to work in. Okay. And I'm also going to turn off the ability to select geometry. So this makes it so I can't select the geometry. And that is it. So that's how we set up to get the animation going. All right. Oh, and then I'm going to save it. Last thing. Save to the next version. 9. Good. And that's how we set up. All right. So this is where we're going to start. And we have a nice little kind of setup, and we will animate in the next video.